Okay, so you found the home you want to make an offer on. What happens next? Well, this is where you're going to have a conversation with your realtor on how you would like your offer to look. So you're going to discuss how you want to go in based on the purchase price. And a lot of this can be determined how much you want to ask for based on the motivation from the sellers and how long they've been on the market. Usually the longer that they're on the market, the more motivated they are and anxious to get an offer. So don't be afraid to ask for a lot. Depending on the market that you're in, seller's market, that means there is going to be less inventory, more buyers. And a buyer's market is going to be more inventory, less buyers. So if you have a lot of inventory and not a lot of buyers got the upper hand. So definitely some discussion you can have with your realtor, but you're going to come up with a purchase price, what you want that to look like, and then your earnest money deposit. That is how much hand money that you're going to put down. Hand money or promissory money, it can be called, but we call it an EMD, and that amount will sit in the escrow account at the title company, and they will hold that for the duration of the contract. So you'll want to discuss, and we can go into further on what that is and how you are protected, how that money is protected during the contract. But right now we're just talking offer. So purchase price, earnest money, and who's paying what. Do you want to pay all your lender fees, or do you want to try to ask for the seller to pay your closing costs? So depending on the loan determines how much you can ask for. So for example, like a VA, you can ask for up to 4% of the purchase price. So if it's a $300,000 offer, you can ask for $12,000 max. Then there's also the title fees. Would you like to see if the seller is willing to pay title? They will pick the title company. If you are paying title, you get the privilege of picking the title company. You'll also have what is called your inspection period, and then how much are you going to ask for the seller to commit to as far as a budget goes in the event that there is going to be repairs that are needed. Most of the time there are going to be repairs. You have very important documents that you'll be sending over to the insurance company. They are called the 4-point and the Windman inspections. Those two documents are very important to the insurance companies to determine the age of the components and how much the premium is going to be whenever you go to buying your insurance. So you'll need to make sure that you put in some sort of budget to make sure that these sellers are willing to do the repairs in the event that you've got a leaky sink. That's going to show up on the 4-point. You'll need to have that rectified. So these are definitely some negotiating terms that you'll need to discuss with your realtor, and then they will put the offer together. They'll send it over to you for signatures, and then they will turn around and present it to the sellers. Also, do not forget, at the time of going under contract or before going under contract, make sure your realtor gets insurance quotes. Insurance quotes are going to be very helpful in determining what your monthly mortgage payments are going to be. So you got your principal, your interest, taxes, and insurance. Each property has different property taxes and different insurance. So you make sure that once you get those numbers, you go back to your lender and say, here you go. This is the principal, or this is the offer price. These are the insurance quote we got. They'll pull your taxes, they'll crunch some numbers and say, this is what your estimate monthly mortgage payment is going to look like. Then also make sure you get that fee sheet too, so you know what those closing costs are going to look like too on that property. And then you'll know how to go in and ask for your closing cost assistance. Thank you for listening. This is Melissa Dean with Lucky Palms Realty. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm always here to help.